So it's about 7 p.m. on Thursday. I just got off and I know I got to get a video out, so I wanted to get something as far as some updates in the room. So I haven't had time to really work on the room much, but I have made some improvements. So let's go over those real quick. All right. So this one we know we've already built. I have my Bozeman eye fry in there, and I have a clown pleco in there, kind of keeping it clean. So that's one thing, is I squeeze some mulm in there just to make sure I could cycle that tank quick and get those Bozeman eye fry in there. And there's about 50 of them in there. They're almost impossible to see, but they're tiny. And then down here is just kind of holding rack. I just wanted to put water in to make sure it's going to hold no problem, and of course it's no problem. And then this one. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this rack. I think I might put my Lucipennis and Petricolas, but I'm not sure because I like it higher, and that probably holds about 80 degrees, and that way I don't have to heat the tank. So, and then let's see. Here I built my rebuilt my fry system. And yes, it's inspired by Dean. We did something similar, but not quite this. This is just a better system. But I did a little different. I got shorter nipples that would drain in, and I got shut-off valves. And then I got a small little, this is the Walmart filter. It's kind of just more for flow. And then a pump. And then I got my trays down here. So I get these trays, they're Rubbermaids. I get them online at Amazon, and if anybody's interested, I can get those on a link. So, but good system. So this is new. And then what else do we got? And then, so right now, right here is going to be my 29s I'm going to build. So we'll go out here and take a look. I have all my lumber I bought here. So this is probably going to be Saturday, and I'm picking up 6 more 29s on Saturday morning, so I got to go out. And then I'm painting some tanks. So these are tanks that I got online that are going to be, I'm not sure what, these are going to go in the other rack. I'll talk about that. And then a 10 that I'm not sure if I need, and then some more 29s that I'm going to paint. Actually, those are 20s, and then 29s that I'm going to paint that trim black. And then I'm resealing this one. The seals went bad. Someone tried to cover with an old silicone with just topical, and that never holds. It holds temporarily, but eventually that gives out. So I've scraped it. Now I got to acetone it and then reseal it. So that's that. The basement's coming along. Cleaned out my utility room. So my goal is to get all of this into my fish room eventually. And then this will be just a little overflow storage area, my quarantine buckets and hoses. So any new fish that comes in, I use this. I do not use my system. Just for 30 days, I'll use this bucket. And then I even got nets for those quarantines. I want to make sure that I'm not cross-contaminating coming in. So here's what I'm going to do with my new quarantine system. This is going to be the quarantine tower. So this is going to be just fish coming in and treating. So the Farawalla, I'm down to 7. So 7 have died. It definitely was a sunken belly. So, you know, the medication could have done it, or they could have been just on the edge anyways. And they slowly died one every other day. And every one that I pulled out, the belly was just sunken to almost the bones. So these 7 are eating. They're eating baby brine shrimp. They're eating discus, ground up discus pellets, and ground up bug bites, and ground up extreme. So all of them are eating. I expect all 7 of those, and I got males and females, so we're good. You know, it sucks to have fish die, but when you bring them in, the last thing you want to do is take these fish and contaminate these fish. So it's very important that you just keep these tanks separate. Always. So I prefer the bare bottoms for quarantines especially, but I like bare bottoms in general. And the reason why is I can really be checking their poop and their feces and making sure, you know, it's not parasites, eggs. So these guys have been through a 7-day treatment, okay? Metronidazole. I do it at night because it's more active at night, so the light tends to take the effectiveness away. It's effective for 8 hours. So I've done it for 7 days. They are out of their official first. But here's the thing, if we don't, so now I'm gonna give them a 7-day rest. Just feed them, get them as fat, as healthy as possible, maybe some vitamin C, lots of baby brine shrimp because that protein is awesome for them. So another 7 days off. And then I'm gonna put them through a second 7-day. And the reason why is you have to understand that we've killed the live parasite in the fish, but they've laid eggs. The medicine has no effect on the eggs. They're usually a cyst type egg, it's impervious to medicine. So those will start hatching out in about 7 days, okay? So I want to retreat for those hatching. Now, 7 days is the minimum. I usually do a 7, 7, 10, or like a 7, 8, 9, or something like that. Because I want to make sure, I don't want to go through this 21-day process or 24-day process and then ping pong back and then have to start all over, because this medicine is not cheap. So this is metronidazole. I buy it online in bulk. 100 grams, like 40 bucks. Now that's a lot cheaper than buying it in the packets, obviously. And then what I'll do is I'll give them probably a month off. Then I will go back and treat them with levamisole. 1 day treatment, give them 2 days off, and then another day treatment. Now, I know that sounds extreme, but the worst possible case is these fish get all my other fish sick, okay? Then I'm fighting. And then not am I gonna be only spending the 40 for this, I'll probably be spending hundreds of dollars on medication and driving myself nuts and the stress. So treating one tank is very easy. Now, like I said, I use 1 bucket, 1 hose for this tank. I do not, and 1 net. I don't cross-contaminate. And I'm making a water video, and I'll kind of go over how I biosecurity my whole room. I don't cross-contaminate. Now, nets I don't really care about because I can drop a net in a tank and then stick it in my hot water at 120 degrees and let that sit for an hour and then hang it and dry, and I'm pretty confident that's going to get ready. And is it perfect? No. The perfect scenario would to be have a different room to bring in fish, but that's just not realistic. The big operations, they actually have different warehouses for new fish, and I've heard some of them say that they don't bring those fish into their room for sometimes a year. I do 30 day, and that's an observation period, and then I usually do another 30 days just to make sure, because it usually starts happening about that 21st, 24th day where you start seeing issues. So good stock is important. But these did come out of a fish store, and I knew that they were probably, I just considered them, sick, not sick, but disease. They have probably internal parasites. Externally, they look great. So what was happening was, you see this one here, how it has that nice striping on it? Some of them came in and they were almost like a blonde, and I thought it was a different species, but what I started noticing is the lighter ones, those are the ones that would fail. And then I would watch one and it would slowly fail and then it would die. So I think I'm pretty confident these 7 are gonna make it. So just a little thing on how I do my quarantines. I like that 24-day, and it can be a 6, 10, 8, whatever, however you want to do it. So, but just try to get that system in, because you want to kill the hatching eggs. Now, sometimes I bring in fish like these guys here, and I've dealt with so many discus. I could see that they had no sunken belly. I could see that their eyes were nice and clear. Their finnage was perfect. So. But they still went through a 30-day observation. So I didn't just dump them in my main tank, okay? Please, please, please just consider doing a 30-day quarantine on all new fish coming in, especially if you don't know the source. But even if you do know the source, it's a good idea because of different bacteria and stuff that fish carry from different fish rooms, okay? So everything looks really good. You'll notice that I've gotten a little bit lighter on my discus. So all the discus, the adults here, someone came in and bought all those, and that's the thing with my fish room, is everything is for sale. Now the prices are expensive because I buy them for a price and then I get them healthy, and then so that time and money that has to be paid back to me. So I think that my room for 2021 is about a break even. I expect to start making a small profit next year as soon as these guys start breeding. Oh, and update on this big blue right here, and where is he? Where'd he go? Oh, this guy right down here. So they were pairing up yesterday. I'm guessing that is the male and that is the female right there. So that would be an amazing pair because that blue, they got the same, you know, obviously that one isn't got any stripes on it, but they still have that same color palette. So good. So that big blue, and so they were picking on the cone yesterday and kind of chasing people away. They're hungry right now because I haven't fed them, so they got to eat, but and they're waiting for food. They're like, Dad, it's been since 8 o'clock this morning. What are you doing? Okay. And then, so another thing. So here's the thing. Even though these guys came in together, this guy yesterday, or about 2 days ago, he was kind of getting dark a little bit. I don't think it's parasites, but I'm just going to observe him. He's going to stay in here for 30 days, and we're going to watch him. Now, I got the heat turned up on him, and that perked him up pretty good because he was tucking his fins a little bit and dark. So within about 24 hours, he started eating again, and so I think it just could have been a stress from a pecking order thing. I'm not sure, but I'm not going to take a chance. Okay. Now, could that mean my other fish are infected? Yes. So I watch them very close. Okay. So what else do we have? Angels. So Gavin and Emily, they seem to be okay. Now, I'm going to be very honest. I had one death 2 days ago, so that's one death in 2 weeks, and I had about 10 before that, before I started treating. But here's what happened: was I was doing a water change, and one got caught in the hose. So I'm almost positive that was the fish. He bounced back out of it, but usually that's so much trauma to a fish that they're gonna. So I'm you know, I can't be 100%, but I'm about 90% sure that was the fish, because it was pretty small, and it was pretty small in the hose tube. So those are all looking good. So Gavin and Emily, I'm going to be out that way hopefully this weekend. If you guys want to schedule a time, I can come by and drop these off for you. And then I'll probably just end up keeping a couple females and breeding them back to this guy right here, which is just amazing. There he is. It's about as red as I've ever seen. So, and to prove that it's not color enhancing, this is his brother. So I liked him because he had a lot, he was, you know, that orange, but he didn't have a lot of white on him. But that is probably the perfect specimen. There's a little bit of white we can get out of him, but I really like that fish. So not really huge on breeding the angels, but I think I can do something pretty great with that in a few generations. So that's the plan. And then in here I have all my extra crevenzas that were in my pond, my Greg Sage, Odessas, and then I have, oh, and then I set this tank up. So I moved that 29 out, and this is the 33 Sea Clear. So I built it a little tiny stand. Actually, I just customized the stand and just cut it down. So this is going to be a planet tank. I haven't really focused. I kind of just dump fish in there, but you see I have the skunk cats in there. So I really like the skunk cat. I think they're cool. So that's going to be a fish I might work with, but I don't know, because I have my wild sterbies and I have my Adolphi. And so I'm not sure what I'm going to do if I'm going to breed those, but I have 12 of those. And then in here is the green dragons and the calico and the my overflow on the super reds, and then just the regular bristle nose. So that's about it so far. So this rack's going to be next, 429s. It's going to be all my L numbers. So that's going to be that. So that's this tank here, this 50. So all those L numbers are going to come out. There's 9 L397, 9 L134, and 10 L333s. The L33s are all caving up. They're going to be ready to breed, so I have to get them out of here and make sure that they're a pure strain as far as not crossing. But I think the other ones are still, I know the 397s are still about maybe a year, 9 months out, and the 134s are about 6 months out. So, but I think the 333s are ready. And that's about it. So I'm going to build that rack next. That's going to be the 429s. And then this is going to get broken down. And I'm going to build this into the bottom part of the rack up high, because I'm going to go up 2. So it's going to be this tank here. And then I'm going to be able to put a 20 here. And then 3 20s along the top. And I've decided not to go high. I decided to stay low, and then if I want to add down the in the future, I can. And then this is going to be the breeding section. So these are more tanks I got that are painted. So you'll notice my tanks are white. A lot of people say, why would you paint your tanks white? Why not black or blue? Like these came like this. So these are acceptable for catfish. But for discus, I want white because when the fry are in the tank, and you'll see all sides are covered and they're going to be on end. When the fry are in the tank, I want the darkest thing in the tank to be the fish because that's how they're attracted to their slime coat feed. I've had train wrecks where the fry can't find the parents, and I've even had them go to sponge filters and die. So very rare, but it has happened. So another thing I want to talk about is I'm still trying to work on my my water video. So I'm getting a couple calls now. I got one today with a lady who had angelfish die and her discus are not doing well. And then I had another call later, just about a few hours ago, of a guy and his discus are huddling in a corner. Now, you know, you would think disease, but to all the fish to go down at once, and then my next question is, did you just do a water change? And they're all, yes, I just did a water change. So in the wintertime, especially in states like Utah, they do flushbacks on their systems where they basically sterilize the whole system, and the only way they do that is usually with chloramines, which is chlorine and ammonia mix. So, and I'll go into more detail on my water video, and hopefully that'll be coming out next week because I'm going to really start up at the new year. So I've been really focusing on getting this room ready. So one thing I do is I have them go through a sediment, and that is a 5 micron. And then I go through a carbon granule, and that's 1. And then I go through a carbon block, which is a 0.5 micron. And then that goes into my tubs. So this is my 80-degree water that I and then what I do is run it through the system, and then I aerate it, I heat it, and then I even go to the next step and add prime. Not what is recommended. I just do like a cap to the 40 gallons and 2 caps to the 100 gallons. Now, people say that's insane, but if you've ever had fish go down because of your water, that sucks because you're putting in all this time and money on your fish and you're changing the water. You think you're doing the right thing, and then all of a sudden it comes in and the water's got so much chloramines in it that it just, especially if you're treating for chloramines and then they add chloramines. So here in my city, half the year is a well because we're Saratoga Springs, so it's off of a spring, but in the winter that spring freezes up or dries out or whatever because it feeds a lake. And then they switch it over to city water, and I can tell the difference just from the odor that comes out. It's almost like a sulfur when it comes out, and I know it's the chloramines, I know that, but it's also sulfur for the well because it's coming out of all that rock and everything. And so I just want to say that yes, it's an overkill on the water. Oh, and this is my soft water. So then it runs through here, comes up, and then it runs through, and this is for my discus breeding. It runs through another set of filters, goes up into the RO system. Now here's something I do, it's a little different. You're probably going, what the heck's this guy doing? But then I run it through another 10 micron granule. What I found is these filters, these RO filters, they get a little bacteria on the sill. I don't know if it's because of the pure water, but over about 4 or 5 months, 6 months, I usually can get away with it. But if I go 7 months, I know it's a bacteria. So I just do that because I don't want to pump bacteria into here. Now, is it perfect? No, but that's just something I do personally. And then I'll show you what I use for my buffers and everything. So, but that's going to be in my other video. So that's about it. I just wanted to give a quick video. Well, quick in my eyes, but and just talk about a few things, what I got going. Now I'm really still trying to get the deadline for the first of the year to get everything up. I will definitely get that 129, actually go Saturday and pick up all the 29 tanks that I bought. And then my next goal is the 50 with the 20s. And then the final one, by the time these guys are ready to breed, I should have these 8 29s ready. So, oh, and then let's talk about this guy right here. So I tried to introduce him with the wild because the wild was having some issues, and I thought maybe, so they were doing fine for like 3 days, and then he turned on her big time. and he actually got a hold of her gill. I watched him. He was attacking that gill. So you see the gill coming out a little bit. That is damage from him. And unfortunately, that will not heal as far as correct itself. Once those plates get bent, it's a bone, and that thing will stay flared out like that. So it's not a defect as far as breeding. Still beautiful fish can be bred. And you know, I knew that that fish was healthy when I brought her in. And I've actually raised her from a small fish. And then I noticed just now, I was looking at this guy right here, and so when I bring these fish in, I really look over all their finnage, and you see that bottom pectoral, it's been snapped off. Now that one might grow back, but probably not. But still, not a defect, and nothing for breeding, you know, as far as not being able to breed them. So, and I'll watch that a little bit closer. But I just noticed that tonight, so it could have been a fight. Not sure what happened there. And then here's that brother for wild. Alrighty, guys. I will keep going here, and I appreciate everybody who's subscribed. Channel's growing. I appreciate it. Really working hard to get this place ready and up and going for 2022. My goal is to breed all these discus, but also, you know, to breed supplements like catfish, because some catfish are something I really enjoy. And then I'll have some fun tanks for me too, because I think it's important to, you know, do what you love. I've always loved the discus, and I actually got out of discus and they pulled me back because it's something that I really enjoy, and I actually missed it. So I miss not being able to breed discus and have that, and that challenge. It was really something that I personally enjoyed. So if you're gonna do something, make sure it's something you really enjoy, and then you're passionate about it. Okay, you guys? I appreciate everybody, and thank you, and have a great night and a great new year. And we'll talk to you real soon. Bye.